Welcome to the GP Preview Show.
Round 13, Italy, Monza.
The checkered flag fell on the Belgian Grand Prix on Sunday, and we head into round 13, which is Ferrari's home race. It's also the race that we're going to be at. So we will see Ferrari and all the Italian crowd and the Italian Grand Prix. If you don't know what we're on about, and if you haven't checked out the video already, please go and check out the video that came out later on the Sunday, just about a quarter of an hour after the race, which obviously is where we say we're going to the Italian Grand Prix, and we explain about that. Obviously, very excited. Very much the same as Silverstone in terms of your excitement in that. Not the same as British Week, because that's not happening. And obviously also it's Italy. Right. It's Italy and things like that. Anyway, but this is still the normal GP preview show, so obviously we're going to kick off with our predictions for the Italian Grand Prix. Now, Belgium. We first came back after the summer break, or the winter break, depending on where you live in the world. It was really, really hectic. It was I enjoyed the race, actually, but this isn't the review, but just to put out there, I actually did quite enjoy the race. A lot of drivers having problems with the car, but a lot of drivers coming out on form. And we head into Italy, which obviously is the last round before, this is the last European round, before we head on to the zigzag over the world, or the flyaway races, to determine the 2017 Formula 1 champion. We are going to start with our predictions 1 to 3, what is going to happen in Italy, and I'm going to start in first place. I was going to start in third, but my third, if you wait a minute, my third's quite can't
wait for this.
Controversial, really. Right, anyway, so first place. Well, I mean, it's not hard. There's only two drivers that are really in it. Obviously we're in round 13. We're heading, into the very nitty-gritty part of the season. So it's either going to be Lewis Hamilton or Sebastian Vettel. And because it's Italy, because it's Ferrari, because they're the home team, and everyone wants it, and also because it's where Seb took his first win in 2008. With Toro. So I'm going to say that Sebastian Vettel will win the race. I think it'll be a superb drive from him. I think that Ferrari will be very, very strong. I think he'll have the car that he wants. He showed promise in Belgium as well. Obviously, and all the other races in the season. Battling with Lewis Hamilton, leads the World Championship still by 7 points. And I think also that home support that you get, a bit like being at like a home football team's game, the home support that he will get at being a Ferrari. I know he's German, but the home support he will get, it will drive him to the finish line. And I mean, Ferrari will absolutely love that. And I'll tell you what they'll love even more than a first place, and that's a 1-2. And yes, because obviously in second place is Kimi Räikkönen. Now, Kimi, he had an unfortunate race in Belgium. He really, really did. He got a penalty, stop-go penalty. Obviously, when Max Verstappen retired, going for the yellow flags, which was just I don't know, it was all a bit muddled up in that. But anyway, long story short, it was a bit of a shame. It kind of robbed him of a good finish in that race. Obviously, the two Mercedes and two Ferraris always at the top and battling each other. He was really closing the door for people like Hamilton and Bottas to keep them out for his teammate, and also doing very well, as we saw in Hungary. He could have almost won the race. He might do later on in the season, but you'll have to wait and see what we say for other race. But yes, Kimi Räikkönen, I think he will get a second place in this race. The Ferrari 1-2, and they will absolutely love that. The crowd will go absolutely amazing. Well, the crowd will go ecstatic for that. They will love that. It'll be crazy. Really great emotions on that podium. And in third place now, is it going to be Lewis Hamilton? The guy who loves Monza. Well, he loves all the tracks, doesn't he? The guy who loves Monza. Who is it going to be? Who is going to be standing on that podium? With those two drivers? Is it going to be Daniel Ricciardo doing the shoey, even though he didn't do that in Belgium? Who is it going to be? Well, I'll tell you who it's going to be. I'll tell you, just wait a minute. And that is going to be, are you ready for this? Max Verstappen.
Ooh.
Now, after Belgium, he had a 50% retirement record. Basically, in the 12 races that we've done, he's retired in 6 of them. And it doesn't take a maths genius, and it doesn't take a Jordan to realise that is 50%. He has retired from 50% of all of the races that he has done this season. It's sad. It really, really is. And obviously, Verstappen is confirmed at Red Bull for next year. One of the only seats so far is probably like Mercedes. Again, that's a contract that is open to where he might go there, or he might just stay at Red Bull. I mean, there is a talks, especially after it happened, is he going to go somewhere else? But I mean, Red Bull are a good team. They are fast, and on the day when there's no reliability problems, they are the team to get. Really, they are a team that they are in that top 3. They are battling Mercedes and Ferrari, if not beating them. But obviously, the retirement, they haven't been great for both Red Bull drivers. But obviously, it hits Max, unfortunately, a little bit more. It was unfortunate in Austria because that's where Dutch fans were there, and they saw him obviously crash and retire on lap 2. He retired in front of the Dutch corner, just at the top of Eau Rouge, heading into the Kemmel Straight, which obviously was a big shame. But I think that this race, no matter how many fans he gets, which obviously, I mean, this guy can fill grandstands in like 10 minutes. You know what I mean? He's so popular. But anyway, I do think that he will get a 3rd place. It'll be strong for Verstappen. It'll be strong for Red Bull as well. I mean, Ricciardo might get a 4th. But in terms of if one Red Bull driver is on the podium, I would definitely say it's Max Verstappen. He needs a great result, and he is a strong driver. He just has. It's not a bad car. It's just it's one of those cars that it has different days. You know, for example, like through the Vettel era days, when he was dominating, that's when it was on its good days. It's having a few bad days, having a few coughs, having a few hiccups, but when it's there, it's a strong, great car. And actually, on a day when it doesn't have reliability problems, I know this is quite a strange thing to say, but when it doesn't have reliability problems, it's quite reliable. I know that's quite a tongue twister, but you know what I mean, that's how it works. And I think Verstappen, he will get some good results eventually. The car, unfortunately, as I say, it's just one of those things, really. But yes, obviously, so Vettel, Raikkonen, Verstappen in Monza. So, Jordan, what is the predictions for the race? That I don't want to say it again, guys. I don't want to rub it in, but we are going to.
Which I'm looking forward to be honest with you, because obviously I love when we went to the British Grand Prix last season. That was an absolutely incredible experience. Obviously, going to Monza is just like one step up, isn't it? And I really can't wait. Obviously, I'm not going to ramble on about that too much. But anyways, yes, my predictions now. Judging from what I've seen in Belgium, which to be fair, I mean, it was an average Grand Prix. It wasn't really the best Grand Prix in the world, but obviously it was great to be back, which is obviously fantastic to see. Now, I'm going to go from 3rd to 1st compared to when he went 1st to 3rd. I'm going to go, the other way, and I'm going to put in P3, Valtteri Bottas. Now, he had a very, very disappointing Belgian Grand Prix, didn't he? Total Wolff pretty much just said, right, you had a bad Grand Prix. He was struggling for grip and this, that, and the other, especially at the restart as well. So obviously losing out a couple of places there and never really fully recovered. But so I think he will this time around, because obviously Valtteri Bottas tends to go off form one week, then the next week tends to either win a Grand Prix or finish on the podium and have your average, have an average race. I don't think from now, but judge by all these performances, I can't really see him in the title fight anymore. To be honest with you, I know he can. I think he's like 40 or 41 points behind Sebastian Vettel, so of course he can, but realistically, I don't think he will. So I think P3. P2 for me, I'm going to go with the German Sebastian Vettel. Now, obviously, he's now 7 points in front of Lewis Hamilton, so obviously he needs a race win. However, I don't think he's going to win this Grand Prix. Now, I want him to, because obviously it's Italy, and obviously Ferrari, and I want to see a Ferrari 1-2. I want to see Lyle's predictions, a Ferrari 1-2. That'll be the atmosphere will be electric if that does happen. As far as I'm aware, Ferrari haven't won an Italian Grand Prix since 2010 when Alonso won it. So I believe that was obviously 7 years ago now. So obviously the due win there. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's right. But well, obviously I'm predicting Sebastian Vettel to finish P2, but I don't think Kimi Räikkönen will win the race. So I don't think Ferrari is going to win the Grand Prix. I think it's going to be Lewis Hamilton. Now, comparing Lewis Hamilton's, I'm going to go a bit technical here. Comparing Lewis Hamilton's speed to Sebastian Vettel at the Belgian Grand Prix, you had Lewis Hamilton in front on the soft tyres, and you had Sebastian Vettel behind him on the ultra soft tyres. Vettel had him at the restart, or when he came out rather, but he didn't overtake him hardly. He couldn't really catch him at certain points. Everyone was like, "Oh, has Hamilton got a problem? What's going on here?" And obviously Sebastian Vettel couldn't really catch him. And at Monza, it's very, very crucial for straight line speed. McLaren Honda is going to struggle massively here. I'm scared for this weekend for McLaren Honda on that side of things. But obviously, when it comes to straight line speed, Mercedes have the advantage, and I think that is going to be key in this. And I think that is why Lewis Hamilton is going to dominate this Grand Prix. He's going to dominate this weekend. But also as well, Lyle, we could see Lewis Hamilton become the more successful pole sitter of all time in Formula 1 if he gets pole position, which is like he's now Tyrrell Schumacher. But it didn't even click to us. I was just sitting there and I was like, hang on a second. If he gets pole position in Italy, which we're there for, we could see history being made. That would be amazing to see. Really, really excited about that.
Oh, it would be great. It would just be something that, as I say, we could say that we lived through, we watched. Just on a Hamilton comparison. Now I know that would be on a Hamilton comparison. as John's just said, he matched Michael Schumacher's qualifying record on the Saturday, and on the Sunday that was his 200th Grand Prix, and Michael Schumacher also won his 200th Grand Prix back at the Spanish Grand Prix. So obviously that was another like kind of Michael Schumacher comparison. So it was like a Hamilton Schumacher weekend, really. So obviously it's absolutely amazing, and obviously that stat is absolutely crazy. I like Ferrari, but obviously as I say, I mean that's something that will give him a lot of power, and the fans will absolutely love that. They'll be cheering him on across the line and watching the timing screens like glued to them. You know what I mean? It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, anyway, so the next segment we do is obviously Fry the Grid. Now, it's getting very, very close between us at the moment. Only a few points separate me and Jordan. Obviously, now it's my turn to answer the questions for Italy. Really excited to do that. That is also the same day that we recorded the We're Going to the Italian Grand Prix day as well. Let's see how much I know about the Italian Grand Prix. So here is round 13 and my Fry the Grid for Italy.
Max, stop down.
Ragazzi, il mio nome è
Did you see
Lyle, and let's get ready to fry the grid for Italy.
Question 1. How many Italian Grand Prix drivers have competed in F1?
Right, Fisichella. Ascari. Are they the only Italian? 3.
You sure?
No, it's going to be like 29 or something like that. 3.
98.
Oh my god, joking me.
98.
Oh my god.
Question 2. In 2017, Giovinazzi replaced the injured Pascal Wehrlein for the first 2 rounds of the season.
Yep.
Who was the last Italian driver to race in F1 before Giovinazzi?
It will have been Liuzzi.
Trulli. 2011.
Okay, mate.
I was getting them names mixed up.
Close up.
Honestly.
Question 3. What year did the Monza race circuit open?
1921.
Year out, 1922. The 3rd of September 1922. Question 4. How many corners does Monza have?
Oh my god. 14.
11. 11 corners. Question 5. What is the name of the final corner, turn 11, called?
Parabolica.
Correct. Got one there eventually. Question 6. How many races has Ferrari won at Monza?
8. No. That's going to be 8. 14.
19. 2010 was the last, 7 years ago. Can they win it this season? Question 7. Since 1950, Monza has been on the calendar of every single race, but except for 1 year. What year was that?
Don't know. Have no idea whatsoever. 2004?
1980. It was held at Imola.
I have no idea.
So classed as the Italian Grand Prix. Question 9. How many times has Italy hosted a Grand Prix event?
Like Formula 1?
Like
Formula 1 Grand Prix.
like before Formula 1 as well.
So like in total? I was thinking obviously from 1922. In Imola as well. I don't know, 128.
86. 86. Question 10. Who holds the lap record for Monza?
Give me right.
Barrichello in 2004.
What? Right, honestly.
With the one with 21.046. So yes, you got one right.
Wow.
That's like the worst performance so far this season.
That was pathetic, that.
Really bad.
Absolutely pathetic.
Close it out.
Bad studio.
I really got 2 though, guys. But shh, don't tell John, okay?
So, 1 point, Lyle. Explain yourself. What's going on there?
Right, okay, well, before I get on to Fry the Grid, my result, I just want to do a little mention to Antonio Liuzzi, an ex-Formula 1 driver from Italy who obviously loves the show. I mean, obviously, thanks for watching. Obviously, we appreciate you being here, but you are going to unsubscribe, or you probably have unsubscribed by now, because of this guy right there. Because, obviously, you retired from Formula 1 at this very same race that Jarno Trulli did, but for some reason, you know, I think Jordan's more of a Jarno Trulli fan, and I mean, I'm a Liuzzi forever. I love Liuzzi, me. I'm a big fan of Liuzzi. All my room is just covered in Liuzzi stuff, and I'm so sorry that you've been like, this is like the prejudice towards Liuzzi fans and Liuzzi as well and the family. My real condolences, but at the end of the day, I mean, 2 points. I'd say that was good.
1 point.
2 points.
1 point. Because actually, you do have a chance to actually make 2 points. Because
three, you mean? Or three? Do you mean 3 points?
2 points. Because when I was entering for the grid, I noticed that I missed the question out, and I was like, "Oh, that's dear." I was a bit like unsure as to whether like I had asked the question or not. And then obviously when it came to editing it, I was like, "Oh, I didn't." So, all right. So now, but before we start, going into more in depth about the Grand Prix, I'm going to ask Lyle this question. So, Lyle, in 2016, at the 2016 Italian Grand Prix, who got the fastest lap?
No, I know this because I made I got some facts about Monza for this weekend, and it was because I put on no really, which unfortunately you're going to miss, guys, which obviously is a big shame. But I put no really underneath, and who would get a fast lap, and then it wouldn't be counted. Would it be Lewis Hamilton? But I mean, you could believe that, couldn't you? So I'm going to say it was Fernando Alonso.
It was correct.
So
Fernando Alonso actually got the fastest.
3 points.
It was 2 points. It was actually got the fastest lap of a Grand Prix. How mad is that?
Crazy.
That is hard to believe. Trust me. Even for them, but still, it's still a powerful car though. So there we go. 1 point.
Anyway,
now 2.
So 3 points. I'm going to go
vital.
2 points. I'm going to go 2 points because of the big crybaby over there. But anyway, I mean, 2 points, it really doesn't matter. Because I've been leading John, I'd say, but at the end of the day, though, it is very, very tight in this Friday the Grid. We hope you're enjoying it. Also, we are really enjoying it as well. Obviously, incredible. One of us has got a 4 at 1 point. Obviously, I've had 2s before. John's had 2s, I think, once or twice. I think mine was Canada, I had 2 in. But, it's very tense at the top, and obviously we have a few rounds left, but it's going to go all the way down to the wire, much like the World Championship. And obviously that is going to be the first topic of conversation. And I mean, we're into Italy, so there's only one team you can talk about when you go to Italy, and that of course is Toro Rosso. No, it's not. It's Ferrari.
Of course it is.
We could mention Toro Rosso because they are kind of Italian, but no, it's Ferrari, of course, the team from Maranello. Now the flag waves when they win. They didn't win the Belgian Grand Prix, so unfortunately it isn't waving as the Tifossi head in to Milan at the Adromo, part of Monza. But it's very tense, and can he win this race? And obviously it's flown before in the past. Obviously it's really tight at the top. Sebastian Vettel leads Lewis Hamilton by 7 points. It was 14. Well, actually no, so let's start at Britain. It was 1 after Sebastian Vettel had a tyre delamination, but after Sebastian won the race in Hungary, Lewis came 4th. It went to 14 points. A race victory, 25 points from Lewis Hamilton, and a second place, 18 points from Sebastian Vettel means it is 7 points in the World Championship. Very, very tight. Obviously filled in by Valtteri Bottas and the 2 Red Bulls, and then Kimi Räikkönen in 5th place as well with 123 points as well. Very good from him, and I want to start with him first. Now his performance is fantastic. He has had 4 podiums in Formula 1, and he didn't make the podium, unfortunately, in Belgium, which obviously, when I say Formula 1, I mean this year, I don't mean in his Formula 1 career, which obviously is really, really strong from him. As I said, him and Valtteri Bottas also made 12 podiums, which obviously is absolutely amazing. The best countryman run that we've had this year. Really strong from him. He was known as the king of sports. He didn't get there in Belgium from some of the from the grid penalty, from the penalty that he got with the yellow flags. But obviously very good from him as well. Really strong, and obviously we all know the Hungarian Grand Prix when he could have won that race just behind Sebastian Vettel. Now it was a bit unsure why, but obviously, as Seb is the leader of the team, they'll want to keep him at bay. Now in my predictions earlier on in the video, I said that he would finish in 2nd place. Now I think that is a good position. I think that is strong from Räikkönen. If he gets a good qualifying, if he gets what he wants in qualifying, which obviously is to do well. It's a fast circuit, it's an old circuit, it's great for him. He will love it. Obviously Ferrari, you've got your home support as well. He also manages to flock a few fans from Finland all the way down to Monza, to Italy. Really good for him, and I think he will absolutely love it. If he gets a good position, I mean, you might even get like 4th or 5th, 3rd, 2nd, or you might get pole position, but I think a 2nd place is strong from him. Not at the level of Seb, but incredibly strong, keeping everyone else at bay, and obviously holding off Verstappen, who I said in 3rd place. First place for that race is Sebastian Vettel, and obviously he is the man who is leading the World Championship at this time. 7 wins. He had a dry spell, obviously, as me and John talked about, where he did about 4 races without getting on the podium. But as Arriva Bene likes to say, when Ferrari is back, when Vettel wins the race, and better yet, when 2 Ferraris are on the podium, or better than that, do a 1-2, which obviously is amazing. And Ferrari are looking really strong. They are not first place in the constructors. That is Mercedes. And do you want to know how many points they're behind? Which actually is quite ironic. Lewis Hamilton points, which it doesn't take a math genius or a Jordan to work out that is 44. I
thought 43.
But wait, nobody knows for sure. I mean, his old childhood number. But yeah, so 44. Lewis Hamilton points separate the German team to the Italian team. So Jordan, I mean, Ferrari, of course, are very, very strong. It's amazing that we're actually mentioning them like this and really strong. And obviously, as I said, their home race is absolutely fantastic. Sebastian Vettel doesn't have a home race this year, and neither does Kimi. Well, Kimi Räikkönen hasn't had one for a long, long time. So obviously, this is a big race. It's a home race for the team and the 2 drivers as well. They get some great audience, great support from us also as well. You keep forgetting that. We're going to be in the crowd screaming for Seb.
We'll be screaming
for Seb and Kimi. So Ferrari, John, it's amazing. And I mean, they're second place in the constructors, but the first place in the World Championship. So like, how do you think they're comparing to Mercedes like that? How the Mercedes team are ahead, like some of them, they're both pulling the weight, but obviously Seb's running away with this World Championship. And I think that we only have 7 rounds left, obviously after Monza, so it is very, very close at this time. So how do you see the World Championship going? And obviously the most important thing, what do you see happening next on Sunday?
Well, actually, anything could happen, but obviously, first of all, I mean, the support Ferrari is going to get at Italy, it's just going to be absolutely incredible. We've seen loads of pictures and everything, loads of videos. We've seen it on TV over the years. It's just, there's nothing like it in the world. And honestly, even though both Seb and Kimi don't have a home race, well, Seb this year anyways, I think next year he will. The Italian Grand Prix is a home race for them in a way, because obviously that's where they're mostly based. And that's where obviously doing simulator work, testing the cars and stuff like that, testing back in Maranello. The pair of them as well. Obviously, Kimi has been there, about in total for about 8 years now, or 7-8 years. Obviously, now both signed a brand new contract deal. Sebastian Vettel has signed until 2020, and Kimi Räikkönen has until the end of 2018. So again, that's all secure. That's all done. So obviously, Ferrari are going to go into the Grand Prix very, very relaxed, very, very calm, and obviously the ambition is to one is to win the Grand Prix, but then also to have the 1-2 finish. Now, this will be incredible to see, and it really, really must. Now, obviously, Ferrari have been on and off the pace recently, haven't they? In terms of Grand Prix, obviously, one minute doing really, really good, and then 1 minute, doing really, really bad. Mercedes is not as much, but I think I can't say a strong runner from Ferrari in this Grand Prix. More towards Sebastian Vettel, because as I've said before, Ferrari are favouring Sebastian Vettel over Kimi Räikkönen as well, and I think that is going to continue.
And just one thing as well, obviously they've both been confirmed, which obviously is really strong from them. Kimi came a few days before Seb, but obviously both being confirmed is really amazing. And just quickly before you obviously go on to your next segment as well, Jordan, that feels great for a driver. Now, obviously, for example, like Max Verstappen might be a bit, hazy, getting signed for next year, but I've got a crap car, you know what I mean? But being a driver, especially a Ferrari driver, and obviously, especially in their positions, Kimi, getting a bit older, and obviously they got all the young guns coming in, but obviously, on the other hand, Seb, there wasn't really any issue, but, it still was about, he could have gone to Mercedes or somewhere else. So, being a signed driver, especially heading into a big race or anything like that, I mean, do you think they've got more confidence in, do you think they'll do a better performance because of, obviously, being signed?
I think so, because obviously, you're not really worrying about, I've got to drive really, really well to impress the team, or it's like, I've got to drive really well to impress other teams, or it's like, or in their heads, like, I haven't got to drive next year, where am I going to go, what's my options? But at least now they're both signed, they both can, relax from, the media questions of, okay, so where are you going next season, that type of thing. And obviously they're going to be the head's going to be battered, so they can fully concentrate on the race, do a grand job. We'll support them for sure. I'm sure you guys will, if anyone else is going. And obviously the Tifossi will be out in full force throughout the course of the weekend. I mean, if you are watching Formula 1 for the first time and you have seen the Belgian Grand Prix, the support for Max Verstappen was incredible. It was really, really good. But times that by 10, 100, 1,000, million, that is Italy. It is absolutely.
And when
really,
we turn
incredible.
up, sorry,
So
and when we turn up, it is times
Yeah.
a million. I just wanted to say that we are.
Oh,
obviously
yes,
amazing.
it'll-
And also, if the first time watching
gonna visit
Formula 1,
that.
as Jordan said, I hope if it's the first time watching the F1 debate, obviously, welcome, subscribe, and we've picked a good week to come because obviously we have a few plans. And as I said at the start of the video, go and check out. We got the 2017 Italian Grand Prix, the video that came out on Sunday, just after the Belgian Grand Prix race finished. So obviously, go and check that out. And obviously, we spill all the beans about our plans.
So obviously now that was a very good, a big positive topic from you. Two guys who get along really, really well, going into the home Grand Prix. Very, very happy indeed. Now we're going to just down the tone just a little bit and go to a team where it's not really going all to plan exactly like that. It's just not going to plan whatsoever, is it? Now we're talking about in a team where now this team is impressing us, massively in recent years. They have been, fourth, up there, up there with the big boys for 3 to 4 years now. Actually, ever since they changed to the V6s. So they've been really impressed. They have two very talented drivers who hate each other right now. That is obviously Sergio Perez and Esteban Ocon. These guys I don't know what the hell's going on between these two, because obviously now I wasn't really too aware of the feud between these boys because they were doing really, really well. Of course, this is the first 7 races, Australia to I was going to say Japan there for some strange reason. Canada. I'm thinking Asia for some strange reason. So obviously from Australia to Canada, plain sailing. Really, it was like, all right, Force Indy. They could actually challenge Red Bull for 3rd place. This could be really important. Comes to Baku, Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and obviously they both collide. And then it was just like one of race incidents as well. The one guy was like, "Oh, he did it to me," and the other guy was like, "I did it." He did it to me, and all that. So I was like, "Okay, fair enough." Come the British Grand Prix, and then I'm made aware that by the way, those two guys hate each other. It's like they hate each other. Really? Like how? Like two really, really talented drivers in a really, really good car that can compete for podiums hate each other. It's like, ooh, what's going on here? And obviously, since then, there have been a few battles of ruffling a few feathers and stuff. And they have had some good results in recent races, obviously coming into the summer break. And then I was thinking, right, okay, they're going to get away, relax, chat, spend time with each other and stuff, a bit like that. Come into the Belgium, refreshed, let's start again. Lap bloody 1, they bloody hit each other. It was like, whoa, what the hell's going on there? Obviously, I think it was Perez that came in, Ocon hit each other. I was
but
like,
twice as well. Obviously, they did it first lap and then
exactly.
they did it again. Yeah,
exactly. Obviously, now in the post interview, both Perez and Ocon did say that the first one, I didn't see him. He didn't see me. I hold my hands up. Fair enough, racing incident. But the second one, Ocon was like, no, he's seen me. I know fine well he did. And Perez was like, I didn't see him. Simple as that. And it was just like, oh, this is good. And obviously this really, really bad, really bad feud between them. Obviously, Perez got the puncture. Ocon continued, and I think VJ Malley and obviously Bob Friendly and all the big guys were like, right, we have to sit them down and just like have a quick chat with them because this could be affecting our push for 3rd place. Really, a little bit way off, but definitely not out of the question. And I think coming into Italy, this is good. This is really, really bad. Even if they have continued, like blown away all the red mist and everything like that that's descended on them. It's still going to be when they go neck and neck, going into turn 1 or whatever. It's going to be like, oh, I can't watch. I really can't watch. And then I think both drivers aren't going to trust each other, so they might break early. They might go take a wider line. Then like Max Verstappen or someone, if he's racing, might go, oh, thank you very much. He takes it. You know what I mean? So it is. I think the next couple of races is going to be quite a strange one for Force India. And I think this is what's going to change their season from a good season to a I want to forget, really, in my opinion, because of how these two are getting on. Because obviously you need your teammates to get on. Your objective is to beat your teammate, but the team bosses want your two drivers to work together. And I think if you were to say like, okay, right, in qualifying, I want Ocon to tour Perez up the start finish straight, and then obviously Perez can go off and get a good lap in. Next time out, Perez can do this. Perez can do the same again to Ocon, and then they'll go to him. No, not a chance. And then everyone's like, brilliant. And then they get knocked out in Q1. Then McLaren going in Q2.
And Fernando Alonso, who does need a bit of a confidence boost at this time.
He needs rocket ships right now, because obviously this is I tell you, Monza, it's going to be a really, really bad circuit, not for him, but
I did want to talk about I did want to mention Fernando Alonso just a little bit. I just wanted to say, obviously, about Belgium. I mean, he was really losing his rag as well. McLaren, it's still open about where they want to be next year. Obviously, what engine are they going to use? Are they going to use Honda? Obviously, who else are they going to be? Are they going to be with Mercedes? One of the options on the table was Renault. Obviously, I know that they had a lot more focus in Renault and Renault engines, obviously, and the Renault team and their two drivers this year. In the previous race, and also as well, it's getting into contract time. So obviously, it's not just Fernando Alonso, but it's everyone else. When normally gets signed around this time. That's when we knew that Jensen was retiring. That's when Felipe Massa tricked us all when he said he was retiring, but he really wasn't. That's a bit like Stoffel being, signed. Lance Stroll was signed. A lot of action happens around Monza.
Yeah.
And then obviously on McLaren's side, if they want to keep Fernando, then they're going to have to give him a good car after a good few days. Otherwise, it's going to be, as Nico Hülkenberg would put it, Jordan.
See you later. To Honda or anybody else, but obviously, I think McLaren are a bit like, obviously they're in. Well, I think Zach Brown did say in his post-race interview or his post-qualifying interview, and he just basically said like, we need to sort something out fast. And apparently there is going to be some sort of announcement either at Italy or at Singapore. It's very, very close as to whether not only for engine deals but for driver announcements as well. Stoffel Van Dorn is signed. Is Alonso going to put pen to paper and sign a new deal with McLaren? I think it all depends what engine is going to be in the back of that McLaren in 2018. But anyways, that's McLaren. Lyle, Force India. So what do you think that the situation is going into Italy? Final round of the European season. Do you think these guys can like trust each other now after what's happened, or do you think it's going to be right? Forget about it, move on. They're going to have a good result.
I mean,
what do you think?
For example, like Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton, you can actually compare them now. You can see that there is a bit of a rivalry. Sorry, not just a little bit of a rivalry, a big rivalry going on now. What happened in Baku? You could say that was a racing incident, a little bit like obviously Red Bull, Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen colliding in Hungary. They held the hand up and they went, okay, well, Max did, but even Daniel was like, okay, it's just a racing incident, so let's just move it under the rug and let's just move on. But I think after what happened today, because it's not just a crash, John, it's other things. It's like on the radio you've had many times, including the race before they collide with each other. I remember Ocon was saying that, obviously, because Perez had a time penalty, didn't he? So, obviously, that's why they pitted him first. And then Ocon was saying, why have you pitted Perez first? And that is actually quite occurring because other teams do, but I know Force India have done that before. It's caused many problems, especially towards the midfield to low teams, obviously, in the past and things like that. And again, as I say, Force India have done that before. When they collide in Baku, now, I wouldn't really... If they kind of like shrugged it off and said it was a racing incident, obviously a bit like what Jordan said, that they kind of little bit did, but they still have a bit of a hatred towards each other. That would be okay. I'd be like, if I was in the team, I'd be like, come on, shake hands, just get on with it. But after today, 2 attempts. Now that is really pushing on the borderline. And obviously Esteban Ocon was swearing on the radio. He said honestly, which I thought was quite funny. Obviously he's turned into a bit of a Sebastian Vettel here. That is not acceptable. And I've got to say, I mean, VJ Malia and people like that at the team, they were speaking to a guy from, it sounded like American or Canadian, on the pit wall with obviously David Croft and Martin Brundle on Sky Sports F1. They were talking to him and they were saying, come on, you've got to get these drivers sorted out. And it's like you're working with little kids. At the end of the day, I mean, it's like Lewis and Nico, really. They had loads of little collisions, but then they had big ones. Obviously, for example, the biggest one was obviously the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix. So it's like, do the team actually want to wait for someone like that? Or, and I'm not saying sack them, I'm not saying do anything like that, because obviously they're both great drivers. Sergio Perez has been in Formula 1 for a very long time. Really strong. Obviously, he's been at McLaren, had great years of force, and the team really need him. Esteban Ocon also was a good aspiring talent, obviously just gone 20 years old as well, really strong from his part. So I'm not saying sack them or anything, do anything like that, but they really need to speak to them. They need to sit them down. VJ Man needs to sit them both down and go, right, okay, shake hands and just don't do anything again. I don't want to say stay away from each other, but because that kind of ties into what Jordan said about, is that going to be what they're going to be like on the track? My answer to that would be no, because they're racing drivers. And that's the thing, if you're a racing driver, you're quite selfish. You don't work with your teammate very well. Or you don't when you're actually in the car, that is. And it's like what they said today. It's like, in those 2 occasions, when one guy's been squeezed against the wall, if you lifted, you may as well just go home. That is not what a Formula 1 driver does. But obviously, on the other end of the spectrum, you don't go for a gap that doesn't exist, or you pass a Maldonado. You go for a you go for a gap that, there is a gap, but obviously it's going to be tight, and you have to go there full throttle. So obviously when the gap closes up, you know, if you lift, as I just said, you know, like what Martin Brundle said, just go home. You're not a Formula 1 driver, you're not a racing driver, you are not, you know, the 20 elites that we are watching, you know, every single Sunday. But obviously, I don't think they're going to fear each other on the track, but I really don't know. I mean, it is a very open thing. Are they going to be men? Are they going to be mature about it? Are they going to move into Italy and say, right, okay, well, we know what happened. You know, I've owned up to it. I think Ocon is more at fault in this time, but obviously they're both, you know, pretty stupid, you've got to say, especially on the first one as well, and the second one. And just trusting each other, don't crash with each other, you know, don't see each other as a threat, because actually they might be looking at each other like a threat. And that's obviously what could be making the, you know, the difficulty. That's why they could be colliding with each other, because they might be thinking, well, you know, if I don't beat you, that's going to look really terrible on my part, when it's not really worked with you. But I don't know, they just need to get on with it, you know, work better with each other on the track. But they'll never yield, and they'll never, you know, they'll never like go around corners slowly because the other one's gaining on them or anything like that. But it is very tense down to Force India, I've got to say, Jordan. I mean, out of everyone else, you know, Red Bull have made friends, you've had other collisions, and they've all made friends, but it is very tense at Force India. And it's not like they're a top winning team when they could afford, they wouldn't really mind one of these problems. They can't afford a problem like this, can they? You know, it is really, really tense. And I mean, do you think it'll ever go that far? Do you think that, you know, Checo or Esteban will be sacked or anything like that? Because I mean, they do talk about it, and at the end of the day, it is a job. And I mean, just think, you know, what would, like, if you at your job, you know, just think how they would go on if you acted like Esteban or Sergio. You know, do you think it would ever go that far, Jordan, or do you think that's just them blowing smoke?
It might be it might be a bit of both. It might be like just blowing smoke and just like, you know, like something for the media to just like, you know, feed on or whatever. But like, but it could potentially, if it does, like, you know, unsteady the ship before sending it to the point of where, right, okay, we can't have these two drivers together because one, they're doing my head in, and two, we're not getting the results because these two just hate each other. So like, so you've got to think, right, sitting down, right, if you don't get your act together, one of you is leaving. And obviously, if someone were to come in to say, like Haas were to go, right, I'm interested in signing Sergio Perez, Roman Grosjean has done one, I want Sergio Perez in our team, then Force India would normally 9 times out of 10 go, no, get lost. But then they might go, might get someone else in. Someone like Alfonso Celis Jr.
Oh, what a legend in Formula 1.
What a window legend.
They've got people waiting in the wings. Obviously, Ferrari test team as well. But as I say, I mean, John, a bit like you know, I'm a passenger in this. I just can't wait to see what the Force in the atmosphere is going to be like.
Love it. It's good for us. We feed off it.
Feed off all this.
Starving.
We love
I'm
it.
starving.
Anyway, but that is the end of the preview for Italy. At the moment, we will be airborne just as this episode comes out on the way to Italy. Really excited. We did mention in the earlier episode that we're going to be doing a vlog. Obviously, as I said many times in this episode, if you want more information, go and check that video out. Really enjoyed making it. Obviously, couldn't wait to tell you, because as I say, we booked this in about December. So that's the end of Italy preview. Obviously, thank you very much for watching. Please leave your comments in the description, in the comment section. Sorry, underneath. Obviously, what you thought about this video, what your comments are about the Ferrari guys, about the Force India guys. Obviously, we would love to hear what you think about it, because it is a very open book at this time. Leave your predictions. Are you going to do the top 3, top 5, top 10, or you could even do the whole spiel and even predict the retirements. I'll even get your head start and put Fernando Alonso and Stoffel Van Dorn on there already, and maybe even Max Verstappen. But I'm not saying anything about that.
Who knows?
Thank you very much for watching. Make sure that you catch the F1 Debate Show. That'll be coming out on this Saturday. And from us, we've been the F1 Debate Show. And until next time, guys, see you later.
See you later, guys.